Hey, Craig, you're first. Poppy, Machine NZ, Mark Osborne. G'day. Don't know if we've got much to cover. I feel a bit embarrassed that I was an hour last week. But anyway, there's a few things. This place is like a bomb's hit it. It's like World War III's just gone off and it was nuclear. Seriously, there's projects everywhere. There's bits everywhere. There's posts everywhere. There's stickers everywhere. Tools everywhere. I've got paint boards everywhere. Anyway, I'm only going to show you this little corner because it's somewhere half tidy. It's not, but we can pretend it is. So just ignore the stuff. Hey, JB. Hi, David. So, what happened to this week? All sorts of stuff. First thing is I've got a parcel from John Creasy, and because he's either procrastinating or he's got nothing else to do or he really likes me, I'm not sure what. Hey, Chappy. He was going to grind this up. Which is what he's done. This was a pretty rough, this old V-block that come from Tom Lipton, actually. He's done a pretty nice job and left the engraving still on it. It still says LS Starrett & Co. And it's still got the serial number on there. I've only got one of them, so that's a bit irrelevant. Hey, Raymond. He's cleaned this up and he's done a pretty nice job with it. It's got a couple of drill marks in it, but it's got that vintage look, and I really like that. So thanks, John, for that. But in this box was all this stuff, and it blows me away a bit. He's used an old gym weight, I believe, and machined this up and ground it and bolted it up. So we've got a little angle plate. And this knob is just classy, really. If we can focus on that. Surface finish. Design. Ergonomics. Beautiful, beautiful thing. So it's made a proper bolt. And this bolt's in here like this. There's been a slight modification. If we have a look at this one, which is actually the 3D printed prototype, there's a few more bits in this. Excuse me, it's cold here. I was going to put a groove in here and then put a key in here and a T-plate on the back. That was the theory. Oh my gosh. What John's done is just ground the sides off, which is much easier, and that fits in the groove on itself without a key. And this knob does up on the back. So, and a knob. made up this centre, which has a screw in it, which is adjustable. And we can adjust that from there up to sort of there, just with a screw through the, or Allen key through the back. So that's an adjustable centre, which is great for putting in a centre hole. And we can still get at that through the groove here. So still a couple of little jobs to do on it. We've still got to put a groove in here and a couple of keys, or one key anyway, and a hole to bolt it down. But this was my design, and it kind of saved me an awful lot of work doing this. I sort of lose direction on some of these things because I really don't know where to start. But John's got in and imagined that in steel, and he's turned one up. Probably is airplane flu, but everyone's got it. It's freezing cold here. It's down to like 10 degrees or something overnight, Celsius. So we're living with that. So that works on centre really nicely with the dividing head. His plates didn't quite clean up. So this is about, what are we, 6 mil short, 5 mil short, something like that, 3/16 of an inch short. So this side here can't really be lined up with a ruler, but I'm going to put a keyway in it anyway, and the back lines up nice. So really pleased with that. And it's nice to have something that's made out of repurposed things and looks like it's part of the thing. The other thing is that the footprint on this is crazy short. It's nice and solid, and I can do jobs with this, like cross drilling a piston, using the V-block as a support for whatever, rather than for just a center. So that's the idea with that. So pretty pleased about that. It's a really nice thing to have, and that's another job done. We've still got to find a box for it, I guess. I cut some plywood up and make a box to put all this out of sight, but that is looking very close to being complete. There's only a few little jobs to do. Keyway in the bottom and a hole, some bolt down bolts, and I would like a direct indexing attachment on here with something similar to this on the back for odd number of holes, and probably from there I would drill some 24 holes around this gear so that I've got simple direct indexing on there too. But there we go. Dividing head project update. Thanks, John. Hey, Duncan. So also in this box, this is what you do when you, obviously, I'm not sure what inspires people to do things like this for me, but this is really nice. Hey, Shed Built Dave. Good to see you. John's made this little box up and filled it up with parallels that are the right size for my grinding vise, which is really nice. He says he gets sick of me using high-speed steel for parallels, and that'll probably happen still occasionally, but these will be beautiful. They go from, what do we got here, 1/2 inch, I guess, to 1.25 inches, something like that. And those ones are a little bit tight in the end, but we might have to work on that. But beautiful set of parallels. So thanks, John. Hi, Didrop. Good to see you too. These are actually pretty tight in here, and don't know whether there's a burr or something in the hole. I'm going to have a look at that before we force anything. Yeah, they fit okay if you put them both in together. So that's really nice, and another big thanks to John Creasy. Go and check out his Instagram because it's pretty good, and his photography skills are excellent, and it's a joy to watch, and it's a bit inspirational. He's got a lot of followers, a lot more than me. So go and check out it. If you're on Instagram, you should check that out because there's awesome workshop content on Instagram. He also sent this, which is another project we're working on. Hi, Patty. Yeah, start from the beginning again later. Raymond picked up what this is on Facebook, which is pretty awesome. This is John's pattern, and I'm going to cast for him either in bronze or get it done in cast iron, maybe. We'll see. This is for a rear tail style or a rear parting tool holder, I believe, for a Myford lathe. So that's another project that you'll probably see something done with. Need a weekend away at the foundry to do that, but it's a nice pattern, John. It's really good. I think he's in bed because I think he's got the flu, so probably won't see him tonight. That's the way, Craig. So that's what we've done. I spent most of the weekend doing housework, which was long overdue and needed to be done since I got back. So there's not a lot of workshop time. I've got the mill in bits. I've got the spindle all back together. I did do some tentative drawings for a vertical head for that. I don't know whether it's going to happen or not. It's an expensive project, and I'm not sure whether I want to spend the money on that mill or not, to be honest, but we'll see. Watch this space. Also did a second pressure test on Chirpy's boilers and started some of the sheet metal work. Not much to show, but by next weekend or next Wednesday, we should just about have 2 complete boilers, I think. So that's pretty excited. Pretty exciting. Raymond, hit John up about that. Vertical head made as one casting, and then a bought-in Morse Taper 3 or BT30 high-speed spindle from China, which seems to be pretty solid, and probably a motor bolted on the side with V-belts. So that's the vertical head idea. It's not a big casting. In fact, it's smaller casting than this engine that I've just had done. So we'll see about that. The casting's the easy bit. Machining, it's easy. Things like spindle and motor and stuff is still going to run into some dollars. So it might not happen before Christmas, I don't think. Don't say that about your brother. Very, very unlikely that I'm going to end up in ICU for 6 weeks. But I probably need to keep warm a bit too. Other thing I did, I guess you all saw this, I'm a bit proud of this, but huge thanks to everyone who, I know a lot of you watch this, but huge thanks to anyone who got me to sign one of these books, and it's really cool and it's awesome. If you're watching this and you see it, let me know whether it arrived. Mine was signed Lyle Peterson, Mr. Pete, which is awesome. And it's a good book, but it comes with all these tabs. And I put them in. I don't know whether it's a good thing or not. They look like they can peel them off and put them in different places if they're not, or leave them off or put them back on the sheet. But it's got things like tapers, angle conversions, triangular formulas, mostly things that you would use. Some things that I would use that aren't in here, like dividing head tables, which I've made my own for. I don't know if you can see that. But hopefully that makes things easier if we want to know where workshop metals are, or sheet, physical properties of common metals and stuff like that. We can find it there, or plastics or tool holders. The other thing about doing this, I thought, is that you find there's a lot more things in this book that you didn't know were there and that you might actually use. So it's not a bad idea to read it through and put these in, because you discover all sorts of things in this book. Hey, Brian. Yeah, I had a bit of a look, Raymond. I've sort of got one picked out, actually, that's, well, ER25 would be all right, but, and probably better, to be honest, for the milling head than, say, Morse Taper 3 or BT30, because you don't lose as much height. You haven't got that chuck in the way, so I really like that. And just about all the tooling I can think of for the mill would go in a 16mm collet. So kind of that's where we're at with that. Don't know. Time will see. Time will tell. What else is there? I'm still unpacking. I've discovered that the dividers in my toolbox are about this much too short or too close to fit these in. So I'm going to have to do a job on them at some point. I'd like to get these in, but that's a work in progress as well. They're from C.W. Smith Industrial Arts in America. If you're interested, they're vacuum formed. They wouldn't cost much to post anywhere. And they're really pretty nice job. They're nice and flat. Just for putting taps and drills in. They look like a pretty good thing. Craig, just post it. Don't worry about the $10. Put it in with a post pack to get it back to you. That's all. Max was on eBay. That's dangerous. Hope you won the auction. So that's where we're at. News from Clark at Windy Hill Foundry about the castings. They've been cast. I've seen some close-up pictures and video, and I'm kind of pretty impressed about them. There's a few little things that will need touching up. We might have to put a bit of Devcon around them, just clean them up, some cast iron putty, and tidy things up. But apart from that, there's a million things on those castings to get right. Every little thing requires some detail and some planning. Each little lug, each little change, each core, where the cores go together and where they're held down and where the lid goes on and the gaps around them. There's a million things to think of. And once you get them all together, you could cast 10 of them and still not get one that's perfect, because you can't get all that down. It's not physically possible. So the ones that he's done this time, plenty good enough. So they'll be in the post by probably the end of the week. They're in the heat treat oven now and normalizing. So that's pretty exciting. Competition prizes are finally posted. I'm a bit slack with that, and I'm sorry. I was waiting for an address and waiting for some cash in the bank, actually, if we're going to be honest. But finally posted. Everything's good. Hopefully you get them before the end of the week, guys. Reading through comments there. They seem to come in. Now, just thinking what an awesome community this is. It's crazy. It's people do things that kind of blow me away. Things like this. Hopefully I can return this one, or return a favour on this, but this is a beautiful thing. And Reen going all out to give us a hand with these and get them all sorted out and all over the world. That's awesome. Yeah, he's making some money out of it, but those boys work hard on this book, and it's just one of those crazy things that happen in this community. These castings all coming together is through you guys on Patreon and through this awesome community and people I know that I've actually got a set of castings that no one else has, and I can get them here from Mississippi and everything works out. It's so good. And Craig's buying a surface grinder. As is Brian. That's awesome. Don't tell everyone you've got a surface grinder. You end up doing jobs like this for people. Anyway, set it up in the garage. JB, the SIP jig borer, set it up in the garage. It'll pay for itself. Get some work for it. Stay home and run it all day. Anyway, I've had my rant about community. Don't know if there's a lot else really to cover. I've got videos coming, videos I want to do. I still haven't got a Miniature Craftsmanship Museum video out yet, and there was a lot of new stuff there that I really went and looked at in some depth. So hopefully I can make that video as good as the Summer Bash one. The Summer Bash one dropped this week. Go and check that out if you haven't already. you should have a look at that. I was really pleased with that video, and it was awesome time and it's good fun, and hopefully it encouraged some of you to go next year. Just get it, then you have the motivation to make the room. That's exactly right. Just get it. Oh, that's not so bad, Max. That's not bad. Tick, Max needs it. Max would use it. That's a good home for the SIP jig borer. But anyway, that's my news. I don't know if there's much else to report. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Big shout out to all my new subscribers. That's an awesome thing. I think we've got about 150 since the bash, something like that, which is crazy. Thanks, guys. Thanks for tuning in. I know a lot of you are in America, and this is probably really early for you, but jump on and say hi. Don't be afraid. We're a friendly lot. And you end up with things like SIP jig borers on tick if you're not careful in the chat, though. So just be careful about that. Look, this is getting out of hand, this conversation, so I'm going to go. Take care. We'll catch you next week. There'll be some more updates. There might be another video before then, I think, a travel video and probably a workshop video. And be kind to each other, guys and girls.